Alito Chumachukma, this is Chief Steve coming at y'all with another episode of True Story. We got a really interesting one for you guys today, but before we get into it, make sure you guys like and hype this video up, comment in the comment section, get really interactive, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to hit that notification bell as well. So whenever I drop these bombs, you'll be the first ones to grab them. Now, without further ado, let's get into it.
So if we know why we call ourselves Black, where does the term African American come from? Meet Jesse Jackson. He was not related to Michael. MLK Jr. said that no one could be more effective than Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson actually negotiated the release of U.S. soldiers and citizens around the world, including in Syria, Iraq, and Yugoslavia. Jesse Jackson was a civil rights leader and worked extremely close with Martin Luther King Jr. before his assassination. In 1971, he created the PUSH organization. In 1984, he established the National Rainbow Coalition. He helped Chicago elect their first African American mayor, Harold Washington. He also advocated for the rights and freedom of Palestinians. He also ran for presidency in the primaries and actually got to third place the first year and second place the next year. Basically, he walked so Barack Obama could even run. In 1991, the Gallup conducted a poll to ask Black Americans what they would be preferred to be called. This poll came 2 years after Jesse Jackson called for the name African Americans to be the standard. He said, Black tells you about skin color and what side of town that you live on, but African American evokes discussion of the world. Jesse Jackson is still alive. However, in 2017, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and has been fighting it ever since. Thank you, Jesse Jackson. Today we celebrate you.
Yeah, because Jesse Jackson, just because you've gotten up in age, you can't barely walk, and you're in a wheelchair, whenever I see you on stage, that doesn't mean that you can't get this work. You have been being pimped out by the Democrat Party for 60 years now? And you mean to tell me in the 80s you're going to reclassify us as being African American when you know who we really are? You have an obligation to our people before you lay your head down for good to tell us the truth. You got with the Native Americans and the Europeans and the Jews to sell us out from our land. And I think it's up to you, amongst other people who need to come to us while you still can talk and tell our people the truth, Jesse Jackson.
Get in here, man. So, everybody, did you know Jesse Jackson and Ramona Edlin got sued for inventing the term African American? And Mr. Avis J. Smith, which is the plaintiff, versus Ramona Edlin and Reverend Jesse Jackson as the defendant. And here go the case number, if you care to look it up, right here. And the one who sued them, he had wrote a book, and he talks about what happened, right? But the weird thing is about it, you can't find Mrs. Smith's picture nowhere on the internet. And I wonder why. But the book was published in 2015, right? The book focuses on a court case filed in the District Court of Washington against Reverend Jesse Jackson and Ramona Edlin by Avis J. Smith in response to a meeting entitled the African American Summit held in 1989. At this meeting, 5 prominent Black reverends, right? As you can see the names right here, right?
According to Andrew Young, immediately after the assassination, people around him did strange things. Ralph Abernathy got a jar and started scraping the blood of MLK into the jar, crying, lamenting it was Martin's precious blood. Young said it was weird, but people freaked out and did strange things. Jesse put his hands in the blood and wiped it on the front of his shirt. This story can also be corroborated by Hosea Williams, who was also on the scene and witnessed firsthand.
And I started crying, and then I heard Jesse Jackson say, he told me, Jesse, take our people on to the mountaintop. And that didn't bother me, even though I know Jesse got nowhere near him. And then Jesse said, I held his head in my hand while he died. And that didn't get to me. And then Jesse said, look at my shirt. And I looked around, sure enough, and Jesse Jackson's shirt was drenched in blood. And I realized the only way Jesse could have gotten that blood was stoop down on that floor at the Lorraine Motel and rake that blood off that floor and put that blood on him. And I went crazy. I really tried to kill Jesse. They grabbed us and all that, but that hurt me so bad. The other thing was, when Abernathy came back, says no need of prayer, no need of cry, no need of nothing. He is gone. It's over. He's gone to glory. And we called the meeting, the staff meeting, and Jesse claimed to have been ill. And Abernathy told him, Jesse, go ahead to the room and relax. Jesse had to have run like hell that room into that airport because he got out of Memphis to Chicago. All us feeling, everybody was still in the motel. Cut the televisions on the next morning. That was Jesse Jackson in Chicago with that same bloody shirt on, telling that same lie. I've never respected Jesse since that moment.
In the civil rights movement, there were those who led it who were paid to get us off our square. And
on this day in 1988, a group of black leaders, including Reverend Jesse Jackson and representatives from the NAACP, met to discuss the national black agenda. It was here that Jackson and his peers catapulted the term African American into the country's lexicon.
Dr. King, family attorney. Yeah. If you haven't read the book, Orders to Kill and the Assassination of Dr. King, you better read it. He names Jesse Jackson unquestionably as an accomplice to the murder. They say Jesse called off the security at the Divine Lorraine Hotel in Memphis on April 4th.
How you think they got Martin out on that balcony? How you think they got the guns planted inside the place to get Malcolm? The preachers are the new COINTELPRO FBI informants. All of our preachers are FBI informants, homie, because they are in bed with the state by way of 501c3, tax-exempt status.
Years, the Reverend Al Sharpton admits he was an FBI informant.
Yes, he says that he was the cat that got the rats, but others say that
we agreed to be called black, and we're proud of it, remember?
And the vice president came in and said, okay, we are now African Americans. We were like, alrighty, African.
How you spell that again?
Right.
Is it two ways?
And I heard this white woman was sitting next to me, and she said to another white woman, they don't know who they are.
Who came up with the term African American? Great question, I'm glad you asked. The term African American was popularized by Jesse Jackson in 1989. It was meant to promote pride, unity, and a connection to African roots. At least that's what that COINTELPRO Negro claimed. But for many of us with Native ancestry, especially those from the Southeast, the term became another tool of erasure. Before this label, our people were already being reclassified. Indigenous tribes that refused to relocate west of the Mississippi were labeled as Negro, colored, black, or free people of color. If your ancestors stayed on their land, raised crops, or worked local trades, the government simply erased their tribal status on paper. They were no longer Indian in the eyes of the law, just another entry in the colored section of the census. Then comes the term African American, which completed the rebranding. It gave the impression that all black people in America come directly from Africa, ignoring the fact that many of our ancestors were indigenous to this land. That's why doing your genealogy is so important. And this isn't just about terminology, it's about paper genocide. The act of changing names, erasing identities, and rewriting documents to make a people disappear without ever having to fire a shot. They do say the pen is mightier than the sword after all. This is how land was stolen, it's how tribal citizenship was denied. It's how our culture was hidden, behind a label that was supposed to uplift us, but instead buried our true origin story. So if any of you need genealogy assistance, go to nativeblackancestry.com. You can book a one-on-one consultation with me where I'll teach you the 3-step process me and my family followed to trace our heritage and obtain tribal citizenship. And just because they call us African Americans, realize that we don't come from Africa, and most of us have indigenous ties to this land.
There are a lot of us American Indians out here that keep cutting our nose to spite our face because we've been told that we are African American. But here's the thing. If you look up when the word African American came to be, I was about to say became a thing. It was in from 1988 to 1992. I was born well above those years. I was not going to tell you exactly what year I was born, but I was born before that, and so it was virtually no way that I could be African American. I am American Indian. They don't talk about us. They talk about the Native American. And it's fine, if people don't understand the two. Even when you go to mark down on any paper, it says Native American, American Indian. But a lot of us seem to think that we are African American. And some of us over here are African American, or y'all, not us, y'all. Because your parents and your family came over in the 1960s, and some very small groups of you did come over, and I call it the Spanish Inquisition, because the slave trade to me would be the indentured servitude that happened around the same time. So yeah, that would be when they were doing that. But so yeah, a lot of you American Indians seem to not just understand. But I digress.
I'm just saying, call that nigga Jesse. He's still alive. Call that nigga and ask him why the fuck he made us African Americans while he's still holding assignment of Indian. Call him. He talks about he's senile and he don't remember. Call that nigga Jesse. And while you at it, ask the nigga what happened with Martin Luther King. He's still here.
I want to add one more thing about the classification of black people as African American. Although that term was used back as far as 1835 in written documents, it was advocated for by Jesse Jackson, I think in 1988, for black people to no longer be considered Negro or black, but that we should adopt African American as our cultural identity. And everybody got behind that because that was the narrative. Crazy thing though, did you know that Jesse Jackson was a Cherokee Indian himself? His ass wasn't African American. He sold us out. And I know some people gonna get mad at me for saying that. Y'all, we really gotta start pulling the threads and understanding the history, the players, the ops. All kinfolk ain't skinfolk. No, skinfolk ain't kinfolk.
Bold beautiful Black Americans, I want to talk about the Rainbow Push Coalition. Now, this isn't the organization you're thinking of. This organization was founded by Jesse Jackson. I seen a video today, I want to show you a clip in a minute, of Jesse Jackson and Pastor Jamal Bryant, and they were asked a question about supporting illegal immigration and how it affects the Black American community. Now, I gotta consult real quick with you know who, because I gotta get to the bottom of it. Cerebro?
Hey, I'm here. What's up? What can I help you with?
What is your name?
You named me Cerebro, so that's what I go by. Let me know if there's anything you need.
Exactly. I want to talk about Jesse Jackson and him founding this organization called Rainbow Push Coalition. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So Jesse Jackson founded the Rainbow Push Coalition by merging two organizations, Operation Push, which he started in 1971, and the National Rainbow Coalition, which he founded in 1984. The organization focuses on social justice, civil rights, and political activism with a mission to advocate for economic and educational equality. It's definitely been a cornerstone in civil rights movements for decades.
Thank you. So, someone asked a question. Why are you guys advocating for illegal immigration and not Black Americans specifically, knowing how it impacts Black Americans? And this is what they have to say. But before we start, please understand that the leaders you had in place, the leaders that are in place, and I don't know who picked all these people, they are not helping the Black American community. Understand the only way to advance is for new leaders to get in power who are serious about Black American policies, reparations, specific justice claims for Black Americans, not all POC, not all Black people. Let's look at the video.
DEI, but why is the Rainbow Push Coalition supporting illegal aliens if illegal aliens disproportionately affect the Black community jobs? Say that one more time. Why is the Rainbow Push Coalition supporting illegal aliens when illegal aliens disproportionately negatively affect the Black community?
Yeah, that's not true.
It is true. They take jobs, right? But they take your jobs. Legal.
Let me offer.
Nothing?
Thank you so much for coming out today.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
This is the Rainbow Push Annual Conference.
I mean, if you want to support Black jobs, you don't support illegal aliens coming in and undercutting Black jobs. It doesn't make sense though, right? I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
Remember when we became African Americans, because I worked in the black marketing department at Coca-Cola, where we were selling Coke to our people. And the vice president came in and said, okay, we are now African Americans. We were like, alrighty, African.
How you spell that again?
Right.
Is it two ways?
And I heard this white woman was sitting next to me and she said to another white woman, they don't know who they are. That's what I said. And I'm gonna take my wig off and I'll be honest, I did not know what to say to her. I didn't know what to say to her.
But in a way, it's kind of true though.
That's why I didn't know what to say.
I'm not an African American because that started with Jesse in 87 when he was running for office for 88. And a lot of people didn't agree with it then. People said that's not gonna fly. I haven't found an African American yet on the birth certificates in our family. And they tricked the politicians and the black leaders to make it look like we don't exist. And that's what Dr. King had found out. Dr. King said, the Negro people find themselves in exile in their own land. He did not say they brought them from Africa and put them here. He said the Negro people in their own land. Right there is one reason I think today Dr. King is dead. I'm saying this to you as a civil rights leader to a civil rights leader. Dr. King was getting ready to embark, I think, upon some stuff that they wasn't ready for. Both of the truth was coming out. But now the truth's out with internet. The kids pulling up the pictures from the archives, they can't stop it now.
That's right. The truth is out now. And there's no way that you can stop this truth from coming out and staying out. Because we, as the copper-colored Aborigines, as the American Indians, as the true stewards of this land, the original people of Turtle Island, we know who we are. We've been known. And now that these leaders are starting to get out of the way, now that they're finally being silenced by nature herself, I mean, you got a lot of these old leaders, so-called leaders, looking bad now. Jesse Jackson's in a wheelchair with Parkinson's disease, and a lot of them are phasing out. Not by anybody's doing, but I would just personally say it's just a collective of wrong decisions and mistakes, and I wouldn't even say mistakes, just bad decisions made over time that is finally starting to catch up to them. But even with that said and done, that doesn't kill off our movement. That doesn't kill off our true heritage. That doesn't kill us off. We do not die with these false leaders. We did not die on the heel of African American. We never wanted the title African American. That title was given so that others can be included with the indigenous people, to not only erase the indigenous people, but to hop onto their movement and receive rights and privileges that were only supposed to be allotted to the indigenous people of this land. And if you look at one of my older videos describing Aboriginal law, you would see that all of the civil rights movements, the civil rights acts were called Indian Civil Rights Acts. Because civil rights started way before the 60s. It actually started in the 1800s. And they were entitled to the indigenous people. They were given to the Aborigines of the land. So when you talk about civil rights, that does not include everyone. They make it sound like it now, but it does not include everyone. It was only meant for us. Why? Because it was a right to be civilized underneath their new system, because they looked at us as savages. So them looking at us as savages and us being considered less of a person, or not a person at all, a subhuman, another species, something that is supposed to be considered inferior to who they were. We fought against that idea and that notion. And with the lot of bloodshed, there came a sense of, hey, we can't keep killing them. They can't keep killing us. We have to form some kind of diplomacy here. And so, in order for us to be considered equal to them, they established civilized rights, the rights to be civilized within the new conquered system that had taken over. That is where civil rights come from. And if you want to check out those old videos of mine, just scroll on down, head to the TRUEstory anthology playlist and look up the definition of Aboriginal law. Something along the lines of that title. You'll see it. You'll know it when you see it. But it has to do with defining Aboriginal law. And I take it all the way back, way before the civil rights movement. I break it down for you. But shout out to each and everyone who has contributed to this content, such as the Great Chief Warhorse, Queen of the Chata Nation, Mike TV, and others. Y'all be sure to check them out on their respective platforms. Their TikTok handles are below. And, check out everybody. Check out everybody equally, because it's a lot of good stuff that's being pushed out here. And we ain't talking about no coalition. We ain't coalescing with no one. We are for us. This is all for us and by us. I stand with my people and my people alone in this time when it comes to these matters, because this is our business. And I find it my personal business to make sure that we know that these agents are being exposed. We are not a docile people. We are not a people who just stays in the dark and just blindly follow someone who labels themselves as a leader. We have sentience. We have consciousness. And now that we are awakening as a collective, all these truths are starting to come out. And no one can stop it. So please, I urge you to do your research on these different ones that they call leaders. I urge you to do your research on the civil rights movement. And before you jump on any train, before you decide to dedicate yourself to any kind of organization or movement or, whatever, do your thorough due diligence and search these people out. Whether it be the Black Panther Party, whether it be the Rainbow Push, whether it be the Rainbow Coalition, whether it be, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Do your research. Me personally, I don't need to be a part of a group or a part of any kind of established organization to be for my people. If anything, we as a people can start our own. And we don't need no leaders. We don't need no, all that official. We don't need all that. All we need is to come together on a common purpose, a common goal, and put our resources together and establish what needs to be established. And then not only establish it, protect it at all costs. And that's when proper systems and things are put in place where everyone has a say. You can call it nation building. You can call it what you want. I'd rather just leave it at that, because the best moves are made in silence. And best believe we are making moves. And you'll know when it's time to move, because it'll be obvious. And something inside of you, just like how we are awakening to us being indigenous to this land and pushing this out and knowing when to speak out and then when to sit back and sit down and chill and relax and then when to get up. You will know when it's time to move. You will feel it in your heart and your DNA and your spirit and your soul and your mind and your psyche. You'll know when it's time to move. Till then, just sit back, relax, and enjoy this truth. Watch this truth come out. And just continue to work on yourself. Get yourself established. That's how we as a people can really get things done. Once we get our individual houses in order, then we can come together and really make some serious moves. And each one teach one. Help your brother, help your sister. Be for your people and your people only. That would be my only request. Now, each and every one has a different story and how they want to do things, and that's fine. Take care of yourself. You take care of yourself, we take care of ourselves, then we'll be able to take care of one another. So with that being said, make sure you guys like and hype this video up. You're new to the channel, it's your first time watching, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you'll know when these bombs are dropped. This is Chief Steve signing off. Tata Chista. I cherish you all. Yokoki. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.